Welcome, Can-Am community. My name is Jennifer Bricky, and I'm one of the Can-Am trainers for Proven Jobs and Proven Jobs mobile application. In today's Lunch and Learn session, we'll be focusing in on the Proven Jobs integration with Xactware. The Proven Jobs Xactware integration provides users the ability to import and link multiple Xactimate estimates and/or XactAnalysis assignments to one Proven Jobs job file. This session will specifically cover the Xactimate portion of our available integration, allowing users to import their Xactimate estimates to a Proven Jobs job file to create work orders by Xactimate category code. Before we get started, there are a few housekeeping items to review. All session attendees will be muted during the session to cut down on any background noise and/or interference. We also recommend that all attendees turn off their web cameras. This session is currently being recorded and will be made available via our YouTube channel and our PSA help library. Questions related to today's session topic can be entered into the chat box during the session at any time and will be reviewed and answered at the end of session. If we run out of time for all questions to be answered, they will be responded to directly via email. If questions are not asked during the session, or if you have other questions unrelated to today's session topic, they can be sent directly to our support department at support@canamsys.com. Our agenda today will start off with the reviewing of the required setup in the PSA Proven Jobs database company settings, followed by the role security permissions that the users will need for the integration. We'll also take a look at the required setup of the third-party vendor exchange in Xactimate. And once all the setup is complete, we'll review how to export an Xactimate estimate to PSA Proven Jobs and import and link that estimate by creating a new job or attaching to an existing job. Once imported and linked, we'll review the created work orders on the Work Order tab job file. In the instance that an estimate was linked in error, or if we no longer want the estimate linked to the job file, we will look at how to unlink the estimate. We will then review what to do when we have estimate revisions and how to use the Integration Xactware menu to import those revisions. Finally, we will end with any questions related to today's session topic. So let's get started. Starting off in PSA Proven Jobs, navigate to the main menu, Settings, Company Settings, select Integration, scroll down to Xactware. Please note, only administrators or users that have been given role security permissions to do so will be able to view and make edits in the company settings. If your company has recently been onboarded to PSA Proven Jobs, your Xactware settings and company settings should have already been set up for you. If you do not see your company's ExactNet address listed here, please reach out to our support department at support@canamsys.com. If needed, your ExactNet address and account ID can be found by logging into Xactimate Admin under the Configuration tab. If your company has multiple ExactNet addresses, please make sure all are listed in your PSA Proven Jobs company settings. If your company has multiple PSA Proven Job databases, please note that the same ExactNet address can only be set up in one PSA Proven Jobs database. It is not possible to set up the same ExactNet address in multiple PSA Proven Job databases. Next, we'll stay in the company settings, Integration, scrolling down to Xactimate. When an Xactimate estimate is imported and linked to a job, the system will need to know what to do with the estimate's overhead and profit, as well as the material tax. Your options include the following for both O&P and material tax. By estimate, this option will create a separate work order containing just the overhead and profit and/or material tax for the entire estimate. This work order will be identified by the category of OVH. By category, this option will add a separate line item within the individual work orders reflecting the overhead and profit and/or material tax for that work order category. By item, this option will include the overhead and profit and/or material tax within the individual estimate line items within the work order. And finally, don't import. This option will not import any overhead and profit and/or material tax into the work orders. If you make any changes to your company settings, please make sure to scroll back to the top and click the Save button. If your company has any additional taxes set up in Xactimate outside of the sales material tax, and if you want these taxes to be included with the imported estimate, please enter the name of the tax exactly as it appears in Xactimate into the description field and click the blue Add button. We recommend reviewing your Xactimate estimate final draft summary page to verify if there are any additional taxes that are needed to be applied. This process will need to be completed for each additional tax. When applied successfully, the tax will appear under the Xactimate taxes. If for any reason the additional tax needs to be removed later, this can be done by clicking on the orange negative sign next to the tax. If any changes are made to the company settings, please make sure to navigate to the top and click the blue Save button. Next, we'll review the applicable role security permissions your users will need by navigating to the main menu, Settings, Roles. Click the Edit button next to the applicable role. Once within the role, select Integration, Xactware. There are 4 security permissions. Cancel allows the user to link the Xactimate estimate and/or XactAnalysis assignment link from the associated job file. On the job file within the Xactware tab, an orange minus sign will be visible next to the link if the user has been granted the security permissions to do so. Delete allows the user to delete an imported Xactimate estimate and/or XactAnalysis assignment link from within the main menu Integration Xactware menu. Import allows the user to import and link the Xactimate estimate and/or XactAnalysis assignment to create a new job file or link to an existing job file in the Integration Xactware menu. And finally, Recover allows the user to recover a previously deleted Xactimate estimate and/or XactAnalysis assignment link from the main menu settings, Recover Deleted, Integration Xactware. If any changes are made to the role security permissions, please make sure to navigate to the top and click the blue Save button. Next, we'll be reviewing the necessary setup in Xactimate. If you are an administrator and have access to Xactimate Admin, the vendor exchange can be set up for all users for that instance of Xactimate. This can be done by navigating to the Preference tab, select a profile from the drop-down list, and scroll down to the Vendor Exchange. Within Vendor Exchange, check the Proven Solutions checkbox to enable. Please note you'll want to go back and do this process for each profile in the drop-down list. If you do not have access to Xactimate Admin, individual Xactimate users can enable the Vendor Exchange for themselves. For our Xactimate Online users, this setting can be found within the main menu, Preferences. Navigate to the Profile tab and select a profile from the drop-down list. Scroll down to the Vendor Exchange and check the checkbox for Proven Solutions. Again, make sure to scroll back up and enable all profiles in the drop-down list. For our Xactimate Desktop X1 users, navigate to the main menu, Preferences, select Third Party, select Profile from the drop-down list, and scroll down to the Vendor Exchange. Check the checkbox for Proven Solutions to enable. Again, remember to scroll back up and enable Proven Solutions for each profile in the drop-down list. Please note, not all profiles will participate in the vendor exchange. In these instances, the Xactimate estimate will need to be duplicated to a profile that does participate. We recommend duplicating to either the contractor or carrier profile. Now that this setup has been completed in both PSA Proven Jobs and Xactimate, let's get back to Xactimate and export an estimate. In Xactimate, double-click on the project to open. Select Tools, then select Vendor Exchange. Click the plus sign for Proven Solutions in the upper right-hand corner and click the Send button. Please note, if other vendors appear in the list, make sure you are selecting the plus sign for Proven Solutions. Once sent, a status of the request will be visible. Our exported Xactimate estimate will now be available in our PSA Proven Jobs database from the main menu Integration Xactware. Now that the estimate has been exported, I'm going to move over to our live demo database to review how to import and link the Xactimate estimate. Now that we're in our Proven Jobs database, we're going to navigate to the Integration menu, Xactware. Once we're in the Integration Xactware menu, we'll be presented with a list of estimates and assignments that are currently unlinked. To link an estimate to a job file or to create a new job file for our estimate, we're going to go ahead and click the Import button. Once we're in the Import menu, over on the left-hand side, we're presented with a couple of options in regards to how we're going to link our estimate. At the top here, we have the ability to create a new job or attach to an existing job. If we're creating a new job, we also have the opportunity to create a new customer or attach to an existing customer. So if we have a scenario where we have a previous customer that we've already done business for, we'll want to create a new job, but we'll want to attach to an existing customer. Or in the scenario that it is a brand new customer and a brand new job, we would leave Create both selected. In this particular instance, we're going to create a brand new job, and we're going to attach to an existing customer record. In the drop-down list, I'm going to go ahead and select my existing customer, make my selection, my location, referred by, and the referring company. Confirm that your checkbox for Import Xactimate Estimate is enabled. Once happy with our selections, let's scroll back up and click our Save button. We'll be presented with an orange banner indicating, are you sure you want to proceed with replacing pre-existing work orders that are open and have not been scheduled or vouchered. In this particular instance, since I know it's the first time that I'm importing this estimate, I'm going to go ahead and click my Yes button. Once Yes is clicked, we'll be presented with a blue banner indicating that our import was successful. Now you'll notice that we're back in the Integration Xactware menu, that our estimate no longer appears in the list. In this particular instance, now that we're linked, this estimate will now be available on the linked menu side of the Integration Xactware menu. Within the list, I'll be able to locate my estimate quickly, and if I want to navigate to the job, I'm going to click my Edit button. Once we're within the job, on the Info tab, we'll notice that the estimated revenue has been populated, as well as the project name of our Xactimate estimate. Navigating to our Work Orders tab, we will now see the individual Xactimate estimate line items broken into individual work orders by category code. The first work order we have displaying here, as indicated by our blue highlight, is our overhead and profit work order. Remember, in our company settings, we had decided that we wanted the overhead and profit as well as the material tax to be separated into its own work order. To review the other work orders, I simply click into the fields below to select my next work order. You'll notice that below the work order selection, the line items for that particular work order will populate. And below the populated work order line items, we'll see the financials for the work order. On the left-hand side of the screen, we'll see the total estimated revenue in blue, as well as the total estimated cost in yellow for all work orders for this particular job. On the right-hand side of the screen, We're going to also see the estimated revenue in blue and the estimated costs in yellow, but this will be only for the work order that we have selected. Now within our work order screen, we do have the ability to manipulate and move our work order line items around if need be. We also have the opportunity to create a new work order if we need to add something to the estimate. If you're interested in learning more about work order manipulation and budgeting within the Work Orders tab, please reach out to our support department to schedule a training session. Now, in the instance that we imported an estimate and we linked it to the wrong job file, or we no longer want that estimate linked to the job, we can navigate to the Estimate tab within the job file. Please note that the estimate will only exist in the Xactware tab if we have an estimate linked. If we do not have an estimate or an assignment linked to this job file, the Xactware tab simply will not appear. To unlink our estimate, we can use the orange negative sign as long as the user has the security permissions to do so. Please note that unlinking the estimate will not remove or delete the previously imported work orders. If the work orders also need to be removed, the user will need to navigate back to the Work Orders tab, select the applicable work orders, navigate to the Edit menu, and delete. If estimate revisions are required, we'll want to navigate to the Integration Xactimate menu. Within the Integration Xactimate menu, we will see the currently linked estimate to the job file. At the top of the screen, we have 3 action selections in regards to estimate revisions. Our first action is Replace. Replace will allow us to re-export our estimate from Xactimate and re-import and replace all of the previously uploaded work orders. This particular feature will delete all of the existing work orders except work orders that are closed or scheduled. In the particular instance that the work order is scheduled and in your company settings you have the system set to allow edits to scheduled work orders, the system would, however, then remove that particular type of work order. Best practice recommendations is we typically don't recommend importing your estimate the first time until your estimate has been approved. Once you've received approval on your estimate, you would go ahead and import to save in frustration and having to come back and re-export as each revision is made before the final agreed is made. Now, in some particular instances, we sometimes have revisions after the estimate is agreed, which would require us to update the estimate. So our second action would be the update function. This function can be used if you only have one estimate linked to the job file. If you have multiple estimates, and to tell if you have multiple estimates linked, in the estimate field over on the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see multiple estimates. In this particular case, we only have the one estimate linked. But if you do have multiples linked, the update feature is no longer applicable. Update is only relevant when we have one estimate uploaded and we're making minor revisions to the original estimate. So in the case of Robert, California, if I was adding some additional line items or I was adding information from ITEL, I can go back to the original estimate and make my revisions. So in this particular case, I'm going to add some additional information to Robert, California's estimate here and say I need to do some demo and I need to add a dumpster. Once I've added my revisions, I can go ahead and go to the tools again, Vendor Exchange, and we will click the plus sign. We will click the send button and we'll create another request. In this particular instance, we're seeing the first request and now the second. Now the system will push that revision over to the estimate that is already linked to the job file. It's important to understand that when we export an estimate from Xactimate it will only ever create one link per Xactimate estimate. The system will not create a link for each individual time that you export the estimate from Xactimate. It will simply update the existing link. In this particular case, since the link is already attached to a job, I would have to navigate into the Integration Xactimate menu. And in this area, you'll notice that my total estimate has now updated. And that way I know for sure that those estimate revisions have come across from Xactimate. So in order to update, I'll select the Update button and click the Import button. We'll receive a banner at the top of the screen indicating that my import was successful. To quickly navigate back to the job, we're going to select the blue link in the upper right-hand corner into the Work Orders tab, and we'll see that a new work order has been created for the added demo. Now, if we need to add an additional estimate to the job file for maybe a supplemental or a change order or an upgrade, we would do the same process as before. But this time, we're going to use the Append New action, as we want to retain our existing work orders, but we want to add additional work orders. We're going to navigate over to Xactimate, and I have an upgrade estimate already written for our California job for some additional drywall in the living room. We're going to do the same process as before. We're going to go into Tools. We'll select our vendor exchange, select the plus sign for Proven Solutions, click our Send button. Since this is the first time that I'm sending this particular estimate, we'll see the request here one time. Navigating back to the job, we'll go into the Integration Xactware menu. Remember, each time that we export a new estimate, a new link will be created. But if it's an existing estimate that we've already exported, a new link will not be created. It will update the existing link that's already linked to the job file. In this particular case, in my upgrade estimate, I have never imported this particular estimate to PSA, but I do want to attach it to the same job file. So the same as before, we'll go to the Import button. We'll have my option to attach to existing. I'll select either by job name or job number to find my job. Select the job from the drop-down list, but this time with a secondary estimate, I'm going to uncheck the Import Xactimate estimate. What the system will do, it will link the estimate to the job file, but it will not import the Xactimate estimate line items and create work orders. And this is important because we don't want to overwrite our existing work orders. So when bringing in a secondary estimate, we'll want to link it, but not necessarily create the work orders. Well, they will do that in a second step. So once I have my selection made, I'll go ahead and click my Save button. It'll give me my blue banner at the top of the screen indicating that my estimate was linked successfully. If I navigate back to my job by clicking my link in the upper right-hand corner, going back to the Xactware tab, I will now see a second estimate. So I have my original estimate, and then I have my upgraded estimate. And again, my upgrade is just for additional items in addition to what we're doing in the original estimate. I'm going to navigate over into the integration menu, back into Xactimate. Again, this is going to show me the estimates that are currently linked to my job file. Now in my drop-down list over on the left-hand side, I will now see two separate estimates available. In this particular case, I'm going to go ahead and select my second estimate. Now, as I make my selection for the second estimate, you'll notice that the items on the screen will change because now it's referencing those items within the estimate. Now, in this particular case, if there were only certain line items that I wanted to import and create additional work orders for, I can use the checkboxes to uncheck the items that I don't want to import. In this particular case, I do want to bring in all of my additional line items on my upgrade estimate. And in this particular case, we're going to use the append new. When using the append new, it's going to leave my existing work orders alone, and it's going to create new work orders for my new line items in my second estimate. I'm going to go ahead and click my import button. We'll wait for the blue banner at the top of the screen, and we'll navigate back to the job by clicking the link in the upper right-hand corner. Once I'm back in the job file, I'll navigate back to the work orders. And now we'll see our additional work orders be populated within our work order screen. You'll also notice that the total amount of the estimate is increased because now it's including both my original estimate and my secondary estimate. So here is one of the new work orders that was created for paint and drywall. Now, in some particular instances, when you're bringing in secondary estimates, you might have the same category code for two separate work orders, depending upon when they were imported. So in this particular case, I will have two paint work orders, one for my original, which is below here at 2833, and then a new work order 2839 for my upgrade estimate that we just appended. That does conclude our session on our understanding the Xactimate integration. We'll now move on to our question portion of our session.